Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. Let's do that again. Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. This is I think my first sit down video since I've been back in the Netherlands. Like, as you guys can see, I am back in my old room. Obviously you would have seen it if you kept up with my vlogs, but if you haven't, I am back in the Netherlands. I've been back for 2 weeks now, and as you can see by the title, I'm going to do an updated study abroad Q&A. My whole 4 months study abroad experience in Korea is over now. I already did a Q&A whilst I was in Korea, and I did a Q&A on my first 2 months, but this time I'm gonna be answering some questions about my entire experience, so the whole 4 months, and some questions may still be the same, or maybe some of my answers have changed, because obviously since I've done the whole experience now, I now have a more better view on everything, if that makes sense. So yeah, I asked you guys on my Instagram to send in some questions you have. I also got a lot of questions about my study abroad experience during my last Q&A, which was the end of the year Q&A, but I decided not to answer them because I really want to keep the end of the year Q&A very, like, you know, general, and so that's why I felt like the study abroad questions wouldn't really fit into that Q&A. So I actually put those questions in this video. Just a little bit of a background before we get into this video. So first of all, I went to Korea for 1 semester at Sogang University, and I only followed Korean. So I did the Korean language course at Sogang, and I did level 3. So that's actually what I came for in Korea. So the first question is, do you miss Korea a lot or not since you have been back? I definitely miss Korea a lot, like a lot. Like, I really had an amazing time there, and like, don't get me wrong, I sometimes also really like missed home, but not that much. Like, I wasn't really homesick or anything. Is language school worth it for people who want to improve their Korean speaking? I have to say absolutely. So like I mentioned before, I did the Korean language course at Sogang, and I did level 3. What we did was, obviously since the whole class were in Korean, and obviously with your classmates you continuously communicate in Korean. We also got very stimulated to speak Korean as much as possible. Like, actually that was also one of the rules in our classes, like, you only speak Korean. Language school is definitely worth it if you want to improve your Korean. Are you happy you went to Korea? Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm so happy I went, and what else can I say, really? Like, I understand that question to a certain extent, because I know for some people it definitely could not have been a great experience at all, because studying abroad is, like, everyone experiences differently. So, and also sometimes depending on the country you're going to, sometimes the country you go to can be a disappointment if you study abroad. So I do get where the question comes from, but yeah, I'm very happy I went to Korea. Did you need to get a visa? Yes, since I was staying for 1 semester and like 4 months. Like, I know, like, my language course at Sogang only lasted for like 10 weeks, I think, or something like that. So in that sense, I sort of didn't really need a visa. But since I was like staying all the way up until January, so that means so like longer than 90 days, I did need to get a visa. So yes, I had to get a visa. And since I was studying abroad, I got the D2 visa. So yeah, I needed a visa to go to Korea. How much did your Korean improve since moving to Korea? I do have to say my Korean has definitely improved. Like, I also feel a bit more confident with my Korean now, because literally at the beginning, especially when I came to Korea, like, obviously I can speak basic Korean, but I sometimes just wasn't really confident in it. But since I've been in Korea, I definitely say it has improved a lot. I got more confident, because obviously when you're in Korea, you do have to speak Korean everywhere. Like, everywhere I went, I spoke Korean as much as possible. And also because of the language course, we were practicing a lot, and which I did pass, by the way. I passed level 3, so I can go to level 4 if I want to, but I'll get to that maybe later in the video. But yeah, it has definitely improved. Did you feel at home in Korea as if you belonged there? Yes, absolutely. Like, it feels so weird, but, and maybe not a lot of people will understand, but I really felt like when I was there, it sort of felt very natural for me to be there. Like, it's just, like I mentioned before, I wasn't even homesick of my home country at all. It just really felt like as if that was just my place to just be there. I belonged there. Like, it's where I had to be at that time, and I honestly really cannot wait to go back. Like, I don't want to get too deep into it right now, because there are some questions later that I want to answer about it as well. So But yeah, like it really just felt natural for me to be there, really. So was it difficult for you to make foreigner and Korean friends in Korea? Like for my own experience, it wasn't that difficult. What I was very glad about is at Sogang we had like this, there was like this student club called Hug. Shout out to Hug. If any of the Hug members happen to watch, shout out to you guys. I don't know if they're watching my videos, but they know I make YouTube videos. But like, yeah, so you had Hug, which is like this club who always like organized activities for exchange students, and I also did participate in some of the activities. Not all of them. Like I actually do wish I participated in more of the activities, because especially during the last activity I made like a lot of like, I met a lot of nice people and like made new friends and stuff. So yeah, obviously with Hug I got to meet a lot of other exchange students from other countries, and I also got to meet other Korean people because of it. So yeah, in that sense it wasn't that difficult. But like outside Hug, for example, like obviously I had a, with my language course I had a very nice class. Like I also got along with a lot of other people there in my class, and I also sort of still had like, you know, my friends from my home university. Overall it wasn't that hard for me to make friends. At the same time I had quite this like social anxiety to actually, I really feel like I'm maybe a sort of bit scared that I missed out on some nice friendships, because like obviously I talked with those people and stuff, but I never really dared to ask the question like, hey, do you want to maybe like, you know, grab a coffee sometime or hang out, or, you know, like I was always scared of asking that. So if I actually did end up doing that a lot more often, then I think I would have made a lot more friends. Like I obviously have also their Instagrams, stuff like that, so I can always like, you know, connect them when I'm in Korea again. Did moving away so far from home affect you in any way? I think both sides, like good ways, but also maybe a little bit bad ways as well. Like it was also for the first time in 26 years that I got myself in a completely different environment, like very from the other side of the world. So at the one sense it was very great. Like being in a completely new environment can be very nice, but also made me anxious at the same time, because since I was getting to know myself a lot more better, I also got to know myself in a not very nice way, if that makes sense. Like I obviously realized what my flaws were, some toxic sides I didn't know I had, and also things I need to work on. So I can also see it in a positive way, like hey, I've discovered more things I need to work on and stuff like that. So yeah, it has definitely affected me anyway. Like I think it's impossible that it would affect no one at all if they didn't move that far away from home. So do you see yourself coming back to Korea anytime soon? Yes, definitely. I really do want to go back to Korea. I hope I can go back this year. Like if you've been catching up with my vlogs, then you would know that I am trying to find ways to go back. Like when I was in Korea I was really like trying to stay there, but that did not end up happening, so I had to go back. What was your favorite thing about studying in Korea? Like I think there were a lot of things I really liked, but what was my favorite thing about studying in Korea? I think maybe it sounds very broad, but just the whole experience in general. Like, you know, going to Sogang, following the Korean language course, meeting very nice people, and maybe just, you know, the whole campus life at Sogang, I really like that as well. And just meeting new people and just going places and stuff. Like, I don't know, like maybe it all sounds a bit too broad, but I cannot think of anything else really. Like yeah, just the whole experience of studying at Sogang, I think. So just with everything, like the language course, Hug, and everything like that, meeting new people, and also the fact that I was like also together with my friends from uni, which also made it like very nice. So I wasn't really like that completely alone, if that makes sense. And also just like, yeah, learning the language and the fact that I could like practice my Korean. Are you still in touch with the friends you made there? Yes, I am still in touch with some of them. Like I mentioned before, I do have the Instagrams of all those people. Sometimes I do text with some people, sometimes it's just only like, you know, replying to stories or commenting on photos and stuff like that. But I'm not like as intensively like still in contact with them, but I definitely want to keep in touch with a lot of people. So were you able to adjust well in Korean society? For my feeling, yes. Like I was already like quite familiar with the Korean culture and stuff, because I've been into Korea, K-pop, anything. Like obviously it started with K-pop, but like I've been familiar with Korean culture for years already, so I already know like everything. Don't get me wrong, I definitely learned some new things while I was in Korea as well. So in that sense I didn't have too much trouble adjusting to Korean society. So that's why it also like gave me that feeling as if it was very natural for me to be there. Yeah, I didn't have any trouble with it at all. It's just I did my thing here and there, and anything was just fine, really. And also the fact that I can speak basic Korean also helps. So, but for 4 months I was doing quite well adjusting to Korean society. Will you be studying abroad in Korea again during your course? Right now in my course there isn't really another study abroad moment, but I do know that in your 3rd year that like you can do either a minor or like, you know, you can completely like fill in for yourself what you're gonna do in that semester. So I think there are options, but for overall there's not really mandatory moment to study abroad. Did studying abroad in Korea change you as a person? Definitely. Like I mentioned before, like I was there on my own and just, you know, very far away from the environment I was used to. So it definitely also really changed me as a person. I got to know myself a lot more better in more positive and also in negative sides as well. Like I said before, there were many things about me that I didn't know about myself or didn't know I had to work on until I was there. Being in Korea for so long also just made me look different at many things in life. And I really am glad that I can take those things with me back home to the Netherlands. So that's why, since I've been readjusting back home in the Netherlands, I've also, you know, just really trying to work on myself. Yeah, I've been mainly just right now focusing on myself. I'm also definitely not the same person I was before I went to Korea. So yeah, it's just right now, it's just I have a lot more experience now in life, if that makes sense. I got to know myself a lot better. Yeah, it just made me look very different at things in life and what I want to do. At which moments do you miss Korea the most? It's funny because I actually recently had a thing, like I was in Rotterdam and I was taking the metro and it was so loud in the metro, and then I literally missed the silence in Korean public transportation. Like, so when I was in the metro in Rotterdam, I was like, oh my god, why is it so loud? And then I realized, oh yeah, I'm in the Netherlands, not in Korea. So, oh yeah, and also when I do grocery shopping, like, inflation is real, guys. Inflation is real. Every time I do groceries, it just baffles me how much money I have to spend on a few groceries. And it's just food in Korea was, especially food in Korea was so cheap. So I definitely miss, like, you know, I definitely missed those trips to the convenience store. There was just so many things I miss about Korea because we don't have most of those things they have in Korea, like in the Netherlands. Yeah, it's just many things that I miss about Korea. Did you date or meet someone in Korea? No, I did not. Like, no, I wasn't dating anyone. Like, I also did not come there at all just to get myself a Korean boyfriend or anything like that. I was totally not busy with that at all. I was just, you know, doing my own thing. I did meet someone there, but I cannot really say like it didn't work out because I don't know if there was anything in the first place. But maybe I'll save that for that in another vlog, or maybe another video. Overall, no, I wasn't dating, I wasn't seeing anyone, but I was certainly interested in one person. Was it hard to get readjusted again now you're back home? I do have to say it wasn't that hard to readjust, but I definitely did experience a bit of a reverse culture shock, you know, with the examples I mentioned earlier. Like, things are a lot more expensive here, especially food. Where was your favorite place? I think I definitely really like being in Sinchon, and also I have many favorite places. Like, I just don't have one. Like, I really like Sinchon because obviously Sogang is there. I really like the whole vibe of Sinchon. I really just like being there. And also Hongdae. Did studying abroad with your classmates change anything in friendships? I do have to say yes, some things have definitely changed. Not necessarily in a very bad way, and to be honest, I also don't want to go into it too much because it's also a bit personal. But yeah, some things have definitely changed, but I only want to say some things have changed because obviously since you study abroad, like, you definitely get to know people a lot better than when you were like back in the Netherlands. So yeah, some things have definitely changed. Some people grew closer, some people grew apart. And also I have this also the same in my situation. Like, I definitely grew closer with some people, but I also definitely grew apart with some people. Yeah, so I do have to say studying abroad, especially with your classmates, uni mates, things can definitely change. Did you go to Korea because everyone is going to Korea lately? No. Do you have any regrets looking back? Definitely there are some things I do regret. I think, like I mentioned before, like in the beginning, like maybe joining a bit more activities at Hug, because I actually really like those activities and the people I met there. I think also what I mentioned before with friends, you know, just get over that social anxiety and just text them like, hey, do you want to hang out? Like, I wish I just did that a lot more. I also got a lot of questions like, was it worth it? Like, yes, definitely. Do you plan to move to Korea permanently? I did think about it quite a lot of times, but the answer is no. Like, even though I really like Korea and I definitely see myself living there on the long term, I don't know if I would live there permanently. At the same time, I feel like anything can happen in life, you know, like if I do end up moving there permanently, or I have the opportunity to live there permanently, then I would probably take it. But at the same time, I cannot say anything about it yet. Like, I live day by day right now. I do definitely want to go back to Korea and live there for a longer term, like maybe a few years. Permanently, right now, I don't really see that happening. Did you experience any negative or uncomfortable moments since you are a foreigner? Uncomfortable moments, definitely when like Koreans tend to stare at foreigners, and also especially where I lived, like there are also a lot of elderly people living there. Yeah, so I always also had a feeling when I was walking there that they were definitely staring at me and also really giving me the side eye sometimes. Do you want to continue learning the language? Yes, absolutely. I passed level 3 and I think it would be nice if I would actually get all the way to level 6. I know Sogang also has a level 7, but at the same time I know I'm pretty scared because it is pretty intense from what I've heard. Like, even though language courses at Korean schools are very intense in general. Were you working whilst you were studying there? No, I wasn't. Like, since I was on a D2 visa, I was obviously not allowed to work because it was a student visa, but I have heard that if you wanted to work there, then you also needed permission from the immigration office. Were there any fears you had before going? I definitely had some fears. I was also maybe a little bit scared somewhere, like, oh, what if I would not like it at all? And also maybe with friends, like, oh, what if things go wrong? Also another fear I had, because obviously I was living with 2 of my close friends. I was also a bit scared, like, what if living together is not gonna work out? What if it's gonna go very bad? But luckily that went just fine. So yeah, those were also pretty much other fears. I think for the rest, I didn't really think about it that much. I was just very excited to go. Would you do it all over again if you could go back in time? Absolutely. Like, not because of the regrets I have, but also just the whole experience in general was just so nice. I just really, because of that, I just really want to experience it again. Definitely also do some things I couldn't do before, but overall, because of the experience, I would love to do it over again. When I had this question, I literally had to laugh. Would you live with your same roommates again? So like I mentioned before, like, it went well. And I actually did talk about it with my roommates before, like, would we live together again if we had to? I think we all sort of agreed on a yes and no. Like, yes as in it went well, and I feel like if I had to choose between living in the dormitory at Sogang or living with my friends, then I would definitely pick the latter. If you would ask me, like, if I would live with them or either by myself completely, then I would rather completely live on my own. I really like, you know, having my own space and stuff. Did you travel to other cities/countries while you were there? I did travel to Daegu twice, and I really like being in Daegu. When I went to Korea 4 years ago in the summer, I actually did go to Busan as well. It's a bit unfortunate that I couldn't go to Busan this time, but I've already been there the previous time, so it is okay. But there were definitely many places that I wanted to go, but I also sort of did like make the mistake of not really looking into what cities are there. Has your view on Korea changed? I did think about it and do have to say maybe, but also not really, because like I mentioned before, I was already quite familiar with the Korean culture, so everything there was not like a complete culture shock to me or anything. I think since I've lived there for 4 months, my view has sort of still been like the same. Like, what I can say is I didn't know how dynamic like Korea was, if that makes sense, until I was there. Like, you know, it's just everything goes on like 24/7. It's a very busy and like, you know, atmosphere, and very hardworking as well. And I think that's what I got to see a lot more since I've been living there for 4 months. So that was it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and of course subscribe. I love you guys. See you next time. Bye bye.